My presentation is over behavior modification strategies. When I think of behavior modification, the first thing that pops into my mind is Pavlov and his dog. But that's not really what this is about. The book just defines behaviors as actions, either direct or indirect, that are based on conscious and sometimes unconscious thoughts. Stress in behaviors is important. Stress is the most likely catalyst of an unhealthy behavior, and becoming aware of how stress affects your behavior is important to begin to modify any negative behaviors that you might want to address. The behavior modification model is a model that illustrates the steps taken to change a negative behavior into a positive one. The first model that we'll go over has 5 steps. This is the basic behavior modification model. Some people talk about the initial stage being a denial stage, which kind of makes sense, but they didn't really number that one. Stage 1 is awareness. It's identification of an undesirable behavior in oneself. This could be personal awareness that you come to, or maybe someone else brings it to your attention. Step 2, it has to be a desire to change. This usually comes about when the behavior no longer provides the ability to cope, or the person sees that the behavior is putting them on a path towards disaster or death. One example might be drinking alcohol. My dad actually drank a lot when I was a kid, and it took years and years before he finally had the desire to change. Stage 3 would be cognitive restructuring. The person catches themselves in the act of the old negative behavior, and then they think of a new suitable behavior. So, for instance, maybe if you eat chocolate when you're upset, then maybe eating carrots would be a new suitable behavior, or maybe exercising, going for a walk instead of eating anything at all. Stage 4 would be behavior substitution, which is when you substitute a positive behavior for the negative behavior. Sometimes modifications aren't in the form of a substitution. Sometimes the modifications are in the form of adding something to your repertoire of coping skills. So some of us may actually gain some things from this class that would help in this area. Stage 5 would be evaluation, and this is when the person steps back to see if the new substituted behavior worked and then fine-tunes the process. So in my mind, the evaluation process could be ongoing for quite some time. There's a second behavior modification model. This is called the stages of change, and it was developed by James Prohaska and Carlo Di Clemente. They observed that behavior change, especially those of an addictive nature, is a process that may take months or longer to master, and this is similar to the development of an athletic skill. You don't become a major league baseball player the first time you play Little League. Of course, it takes years and years of practice. So to me, this really made sense. They have 6 stages of change. The first one is the pre-contemplation stage, and this is basically denial of the problem. The second step is the contemplative stage. In this stage, the person has a knowledge of a possible problem and considers that change might be a good choice to make. The step 3 is the determination stage. This is when willpower is called upon to put the thought processes of change into action. For instance, I've decided I need to lose weight, be healthier, so I've started setting the alarm clock and getting up at 7:30 to exercise every morning. So I would say I've been in the determination stage and am moving into the action stage. Action stage is step 4, and in this stage, action is taken, but it may take several tries to get it right. In my life, I'm not very good at getting up at 5 in the morning, so for me, getting up at 7:30 is a better thing. During school, when school starts back, I'm going to have to figure out if I'm going to get up a little earlier or if I will exercise later in the day. So I may have to take different tries to get that one right. Step 5 would be the maintenance stage, and that's the stage where the person makes this change as a part of their regular routine and it becomes second nature. I'm not there yet. Relapse stage, this is a period in which the old behavior is resumed for a while and then the new behavior must be readopted. I don't know about you, but I've been there, done that a few times. Positive effects of behavior modification would be improved self-esteem, improved health if you're reducing stress by your behavior modification, if you're doing something to just be healthier overall, improved relationship with others, especially if the behavior modification is used to become more assertive. The book talks about that behavior modification and self-esteem are closely related, and that when people use it to become more assertive, then that is a really positive thing for them. If you're interested in using this strategy to modify your own behaviors, here are some steps. First, you need to become aware of the undesirable behavior. This may be the hardest part because we don't really like to do that. Choose only one behavior to modify at a time. That can also be difficult because when we get in the mindset that we want to change something about ourselves, we kind of want to just do it all at once, and then generally you're unsuccessful. Another thing they said is to monitor your thoughts and actions during times of stress, especially, so that you can see how you are reacting to stress and maybe deal with that better, and then continue with the remaining steps. It's going to be a process, and it's not going to happen overnight, and I think we have to go into it knowing that there will be some failures and that we just have to deal with those when they come. I hope you learned something new, maybe that you didn't already know from this, and I look forward to seeing your strategies.